Hey y'all, welcome back to Poplar Creek Farm. So tonight I am out here in my apiary, as you see behind me. I am going to go ahead and I'm not doing a full hive inspection. I am solely out here to put supers on two of my hives. So my far two hives over here, both are doing super well. They are producing lots of brood. Put that second deep on a few weeks ago. They've got that pretty much filled, so they're ready for honey super. Basically at that point, if I don't give them something to add on to, they're gonna swarm because they're running out of room, and they realize that, and they don't want to run out of room. They want to continue to produce and continue to store honey for the winter. That is what their job is. So tonight I'm going to go ahead and put two honey supers on. So I'm going to put one on each of those two hives. These two hives over here, I just put their second deep on last week or 2 weeks ago now. They're not ready. I am going to do a little bit of a hive inspection real quick on them, especially this first one, because I'm still not 100% sold that I have a good queen in there. So I've got to check that real quick. But other than that, I'm not really touching them tonight. It's already after 5 o'clock, and it's a little late to be doing a hive inspection. Basically, the longer you wait in the day, the more bees there are going to be in the hive. Middle of the day, that's when the majority of the bees are out foraging, checking out for honey sources or nectar sources and pollen sources. So that's the best time of day to do it. I work all day, so I have to do what I have to do it when I can. So I am officially wearing my full, super attractive, super baggy bee suit. After I got 4 bee stings total for one day, and then 3 another day from the same hive, my last hive here, I have decided that I'm going to just go ahead and protect myself, because every time I get stung, not only is it increasing my risk for potentially having a reaction, it also is just, I have to stop everything. I have to go inside, I have to clean up, I have to change my clothes, make sure that scent of the stress hormone, the banana pheromone that gets released when they sting you is gone, and it's just a pain. So I'm not doing that anymore. So let me show you guys what I need when I put a honey super on. First thing, obviously, other than my gear, is I need to take those feeders out. I have feeders in both of those hives. They are not staying in. They cannot stay in when I have honey supers on. You cannot feed your bees sugar water when you have a honey super. It's not the right thing to do. You don't do it. So I do have to replace the 2 frames, 1 frame in each hive. So I will do that. Next thing is you need some form of a queen excluder. I have 2 options here. I have a plastic one and I have a metal one. Not sure what I'm gonna prefer. We'll see. I'm trying them both. This one, the metal one, came with my full kit, and this one I purchased separately. So the idea of a queen excluder is these little holes are too small, little slits are too small for the queen to fit through. You put this on top of the brood boxes before you put the honey super on. The idea is the queen cannot go up into the honey super. And you might ask, why would you not want your queen up in your honey super? Because you want them to eat, right? Well, actually, the worker bees feed the queen anyways. And if I don't have this, the queen is going to eventually lay in my honey supers. Lay eggs, which turn into larvae, which turn into pupa, which turn into bees. I don't know of any person who wants to consume honey that has larvae and eggs and potentially pupa and bees in it. I mean, it's just gross. Although yes, you filter your honey through, to get out the wax and everything, it's not going to filter out eggs, and it might not filter out the really small larvae. So I don't really want to risk that, and it's a pain, and you're killing some of your bees then. They will continue to lay in their brood boxes. That's where they should lay, and these are solely for honey. This is for honey for harvesting. If I wanted to just put a honey super on for them to have and not touch myself at all, I wouldn't need the queen excluder because they can lay in it. But I want to be able to harvest this honey, so I have to put a queen excluder on. Also, a super, it's typically, doesn't have to be, you can put a deep on, but it's typically a shallow. So this is a shallow box. This is a very narrow box. It's small. The frames are much smaller, they're much shorter. This is my deep frame, this is my shallow frame. Clearly big difference in size, okay? The idea is honey gets really heavy, really, really heavy. A full box, a shallow, can be up to around 60 pounds full of honey, of capped honey. So if I'm having to lift 60 pounds, that's a lot of weight. That's with a shallow. If I put a deep on there, you're gonna at least double that. I cannot pick up 120 pounds. There's just no way. I just can't do it. So I know that I have to harvest from a shallow super. And so that's why I'm putting my super boxes are gonna be shallow. That's why they're gonna be that way. Now let's go ahead and get started. I am gonna do a little bit of a hive inspection, but I'm gonna first start with putting the supers on. I do have my smoker out here. I did mention in one of my videos that, oh, I didn't think I needed it. Well, then I did get stung a couple times, and I don't think, I mean, I had my smoker then, but I have also since noticed that some of my hives, because they're so full of bees right now, as soon as I pop that top off, they're swarming me. Not in an aggressive way, but it's still very hard to work when you have bees all over you and you can't really focus on what you're doing. So I do like the smoker to kind of get those bees to go into the hive and to stay away from me as much as possible. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and add the honey super to hive number 1. This is my most aggressive hive. This is the hive I've got my bee stings from. This is a very, very strong hive though. Alright, so most of these frames are filled with either brood or honey, or they're at very least drawn out. That means they are ready for a honey super. Like I said, first thing I'm doing is taking out the feeder. They don't need the feeder anymore, and they can't have it in while I have the honey super on. It looks pretty much empty anyways. I'm gonna give it a quick shake. Try to get some of the bees off of it. I'm gonna quickly pop some of these hives out, or these frames out, just to make sure that they look good, and then I'll put that other frame in and put the honey super on. So this frame right here is pretty much all honey. Honey and bee bread. You can see it there, and some of that's capped on the top, and there's more capped on this side. That is awesome. That is like all capped honey and some brood on there. That's awesome. This hive is so healthy. I'm gonna go ahead and put the frames back. I'm gonna put in my frame that I have to replace the feeder with. And right on top of this is where my queen excluder goes. All these worker bees can fit right through this, but the queen cannot. And the queen, I assume, is down in anyways, because most of the top frames here are brood, or I'm sorry, are honey, so she's probably not up here anyways. Go ahead and put the super on. Hi, baby. Queen excluder fits right on there. Super on. They can now fill this thing with honey. No brood will be in it. Go Put my top cover back on. My inner cover, I'm sorry. At this point, I am going to go ahead, not today, but within the next few days, I'm going to add ratchet straps to this, because with the queen excluder on, it does slide a bit more, and it's getting tall, so obviously there's more space for it to get knocked over. There's a few bees left in that, that's fine. That's it. On to hive number 2. Alright guys, so I have some awesome news to report. I definitely have a queen in the one hive that I thought was queenless. I was pretty sure anyways that I had a queen, but I'm 100% positive now. That frame, or that hive, has drawn out comb in the top box already, and I just added that last week. They've got some eggs in there already, and they're laid really nicely. And the brood that was down below that had been, you know, just some larvae, I was worried that if it was potentially some workers laying, basically if a worker lays, it's going to be a drone. And they are all capped brood, just like worker bees. They're not bumped up like drone brood would be. So they are definitely workers. There's definitely a queen laying, and that's super exciting. That frame, or that hive, is doing awesome. I think in another week or two I'm going to be able to have a super on that one. The one next to it, which has always been my smallest hive, had the least amount of bees when I got it. It's definitely a little bit behind. It's got some catching up to do. It's only got a little bit of drawn out comb, but it'll get there. It'll definitely get there, and I'm so excited to see these hives produce honey and just keep doing what they're doing. They're doing amazing. It's so cool to watch them, and I really hope you guys enjoy it as well. Thank y'all for joining me. Please like and subscribe and join me on the next one.